All right, Shalom. It's the brother Quashab coming back at you with another quick lesson. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, glory, infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kodash, double honors, and to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me is true and rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations. All right, to the Labacharian, all right, hopefully elect in the Hebrew, all right, as well as the sincere that believe in this gospel. May you endure to the end, Lord willing. And as you can see, this is a picture here of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, all right, who cast into the fire, all right. And that's pretty much what this lesson is going to be centered around, all right, hoping and praying, to Yahweh, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Those are the names in the Paleo Hebrew, all right. And just hoping and praying that the Lord, has put the spirit on men such as myself and the other Akim, as well as the Zaquanium, to have the same mindset, all right, or the same type of spirit, what these brothers, went through, you know, a mindset of having the Lord be with us, and whatever comes through the persecution of the prophets that's surely going to come to pass, you know, that the Lord just be with us, man, and that the angels protect us and keep us, man. All right. Whatever the will of the Lord is for each man in his lot. All right. Now, this the book of Daniel's. It's chapter 3. All right, and I'm gonna start at verse I'm gonna start at verse 12, right? And as you can see the caption of the title from verse 8 on down, it says a worship of the image refused. All right. In which we know that the image, all right, in these current times would be the New World Order, all right, the whole system, the whole mark of the beast system, you know, and the mark of the beast itself, all right. So it's the book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 12, all right. After this, I give a quick rundown, after the king had pretty much gave a decree, all right, for everybody to come and worship this gold image, all right, which he had set up, idol, all right, and whoever didn't worship it, all right, will be cast into a burning fiery furnace, man. Okay, now just bear with me because it's a little lengthy. All right, I was trying to get the point. Okay, and this is Daniel's 3:12. It says there are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. And then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they brought these men before the king. And Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? All right, and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were along with Daniel as well. They were set up, in pretty high positions, due to the wisdom, all right, that they possessed, all right, in which the king, Nebuchadnezzar, um, he valued that, all right. It said, "Do ye not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up?" Question mark. Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast that same hour into the midst of the fiery furnace. And who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hand? All right. So he pretty much gave him another chance. All right. So when it happened this time, you know, just try to worship it, please, or you're gonna be cast into the fire, man. All right. So like it says, and who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hands? Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said, O king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. So then it was like, okay, well, we don't really care, man. All right. It says, if it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship thy golden image which thou hast set up. All right. And so, you know, back on what I was saying in the beginning of the lesson, they were like their faith, all right, was on another level, man. All right. And our faith has to be on the same level of today, you know, because we know through our power, Yahweh Bashim Shai, all right, he's the actual creator of all things. He's actually controlling everything, you know. So if it be a lot to be cast in the fire, you have to go in with the same mindset. You be like, hey, you know, the Lord either gonna deliver me, all right, but if he don't, I'm still standing firm. All right, I'm still standing on all 10, all right, behind this truth, all right, behind this word, man. All right. That's the mindset that we have to have. It says, then Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right. So you know how, you get burnt up, angry, all right, in a full blown rage. All right. That's why brother say when you read these stories, you have to visualize it, man. All right. Which is why I put this picture up here. You know, you have to visualize these stories, man. All right. So verse 19, it says, then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. All right. So they said, let's make the furnace 7 times more hotter than it normally is, man. All right. Because I'm pissed off with these niggas. You know, all I done for them, and they're not going to worship my gods. You know, I'm pissed off. Heat the furnace 7 times more. You know, it says, and then these men were bound in their coats, their horsemen, their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. All right, so they tied them up. All right, threw them in there. It says, therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right, so the furnace, it was so hot, all right, to where when they went to throw them in there, it burnt them up, man. All right, they died throwing them in the fire. You see? It says, and these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished. I guess it's a typo, it should say astonished, and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. And he answered and said, Lo, I see four men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the fourth is like unto the Son of the Most High. All right. And as you can see in the image, all right, it's like the picture, all right, who we know as Yahushua, all right, in the midst of them with the fire, all right, showing that when you have a extreme level of faith, all right, and you truly believe, all right, when these men were thrown into this fire, they truly believed that the Lord was either going to deliver them, all right, or they were going to get burned up in a fire, all right, due to that was the will of the Lord was going to be, all right. But even so, their faith was on another level, man. All right, it was two choices they had to make. You know, we not gonna serve the image, all right, or we gonna get burned up in the fire, man. And we gonna get faced with that same choice, man. All right, either to take the MOTB or boom, here's your head, and we gonna put your head in the guillotine, man. All right. Yeah, God Trump was already talking about bringing back firing squads. All right, electric chairs, man. You know, but we just have to have a different level of faith, man. All right, as these three brothers had, man. You know, and so Nebuchadnezzar was like, man, we threw him in there tied up. All right, the men that tried to throw him in there burnt to death, and they just walking around in the furnace. And not to imagine it's 7 times hotter. All right, 7 times hotter than it would normally be. You see, that show you the wonders and the miracles, all right, that the Lord is getting ready to work in these last days, man, for his elect. You see, it says, verse 26, it says, Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High Power, come forth and come hither. And then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was the hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of the fire had passed on them. All right. So the way they went into the fire, all right, tied up, clothes on, the fire literally didn't touch them, man. They didn't even feel it. That shows you the power of the Lord, man. All right. That shows you the power of the Lord, man. All right. When you in his good graces, all right, when you in on his good side, when you've been, you know, uh, doing this work in all truth and sincerity, man. You know, and this is what the Lord is getting ready to do again. All right, for his precious elect. You see, the hair on their heads, on their faces, wasn't touched. They didn't even smell like smoke, man. All right, that's different. All right, like Jake said in the world, that's different right there. You see, it's verse 28. It says, Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their power. All right. So that even changed Nebuchadnezzar's mind. Like, hey man, the gods we serve is not able to even be on the same pedestal as their powers, man. All right, their power Yahweh. All right, and his son Yahweh Shai. You know, it says that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. So he didn't even want them to he didn't like, oh, I'm gonna throw him back in there. Let me see it do it again. He was convinced, man. You know, he was like, man, like I can't compete. I can't compete against this. It's nothing that I can do. All right, and know that, and the Lord is going to do that again, man. Right? He's going to do that again. You know. Let me get a quick precept. All right. I'm gonna just use my Bible since I got it right here. I believe it's Psalms 34:7. Right? Yeah, it's the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 7. It says, the angel of the Yahweh encampeth around them, Salaki encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. Verse 8, O taste and see that Yahweh is good. Blessed is the man that trusted in him. All right. And as you can see, all right, a prime example is written right here in Daniel's 3, man. You see, it's a prime example of the angel of the Lord, all right, encamping round about them that fear him, all right. And as he was in the midst of the furnace of the fire, all right, when he called to him and told him to come out the fire, that was deliverance, man, all right. That's why I say, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good, and blessed is the man that trusted in him, all right. Because trusting in Yahweh by Shimi Hawashai, all right, you can't fail, you know. You can't lose trusting in the Lord, man. All right. Let me jump to the book of Romans. This book of Romans, all right, because as I reference, you know, this is the same mindset that we should have now. All right. It's the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. All right. And we should learn from this account on his own to have patience and have faith in the Lord, and he gonna deliver us, man. And not to fear, all right, the things that these rulers, all right, that these rulers can bring upon us, all right, because we know what, according to Proverbs 21:1, all right, that the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, man. So he's only doing what the Lord is allowing him to do, you know. And ultimately, these tests of your faith is brought upon you, all right, so that you can prove yourself to the Lord, man. You know, it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. All right. So this is what we rely on. All right. The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right. This is the comfort that we have through the scriptures. All right. That we hope that the Lord delivers us the same way, man. All right. Yes, we know some men will be beheaded for the testimony of Yahweh. Yes, that's always something to consider. But even that itself is honorable, man. That's why I say we can't lose. We can't lose on this side, man. Right? Now, I'm gonna go back to Daniel. All right. Go back to Daniel. All right. And I'm gonna get Daniel. All right, in the lion's den. You see, because it's another test of faith. You see, right here. Let me see. Daniel's 6. Right after the Darius, the Mede took over, man. All right. And what's these heathens, all right, they was pissed off because Daniel was he was like the highest ranking, all right, officer in the kingdom, all right, under Darius, all right, and they came up against him, all right, to make a decree, all right, that no man for 30 days couldn't pray, all right. And if they caught any man praying, they would throw him and cast him away in the lion's den, man, all right, to be eaten by the lions, all right. But we gonna see what the Lord do for Daniel, all right. And which, these stories that, brothers have read and gone over, you know, but it never gets old, man, all right. It's always a faith booster, all right. It's always a faith builder. You see, these stories can never get old, man, all right. Because when persecution cometh, all right, when tribulation come, these are the things that's gonna have to be sealed in our heads, all right, so that we can continue and endure, all right, through the troubling times that we're gonna have to go through, man. You see? Now this the book of Daniel, chapter 6. So like, give me 1 second, I'm trying to see where it started at. All right. And these, they was pretty much hating on Daniel, man. All right. Now this the book of Daniel, chapter 6, verse 13. It says, then they answered and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regarded not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but make it his petition 3 times a day. All right. So he continued to pray. All right. He prayed with his window open. All right. So, people pretty much saw him. All right. It says, then the king, when he heard these words, he was sore displeased with himself. All right. And set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. All right. Let me get this in the NLT real quick. Right. It's back in Daniel 6 and 13, 14. So like it says, hearing this, the king was deeply troubled. All right. He was like, damn, it was Daniel, because Daniel was a man of high value, all right, a lot of wisdom, all right, especially in his ability to interpretate the dreams, all right, and give understanding to the kings, you know. That's why the king was like, damn, it's Daniel, you know. So that's why he was displeased with himself, you know. It says and he tried to think of a way to save Daniel because he was like, man, I don't want to throw Daniel in there. I know the Lord dealing with Daniel. All right. It says, and he spent the rest of the day looking for a way to get Daniel out of this predicament, you know? So he was on Daniel's side because he knew the power of Yahweh by Shemi Shai. All right. And I believe this was Darius. Darius the Mede. Yeah. All right. And it said verse 15, it says, in the evening the men went together to the king and said, Your Majesty, you know that according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, no law that the king signs can be changed. So they like, man, you can't go back and change the law now. You got to get Daniel, you know. And these were the men, all right, that were over the 100, I believe it was 127 provinces, all right. In which if you liken that to these times, like the U.S., they got 50 states, all right. It's pretty much the same thing, but they got 127 states, all right. And at the each state has a senate. All right. So that's what these were. They were like, you made this decree, all right, to get the which you would liken Daniel to uh Mitch McConnell, all right, or somebody like that, in which because he held a high position. It says verse 16, so at last the king gave orders for Daniel to be arrested because he couldn't find a way around it. All right. They were on him, they were on him heavy, like, hey, you can't get out of this. We gotta get Daniel. And that was all a part of a conspiracy to get Daniel killed, man. All right. When you read the whole chapter, all right, along with chapter 5, let me see. Yeah. I mean, it's all good to read. I was just reading this. I thought, this is be a good lesson to do an exhortation on. But let me get to the point. All right, I don't be too much longer. It says, so at the last, the king gave orders for Daniel to be arrested and thrown into the den of lions. And the king said to him, may your power, whom you serve so faithfully, rescue you. So he knew the power of Yahweh Bashim Shai, man. He knew that Yahweh Shai was going to rescue him, man. All right. He knew that he was going to deliver him, man. All right. It says, verse 17, and the stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed the stone with his own royal seal and the seals of his nobles, so that no one could rescue Daniel. All right. And then, so they put him in there. All right. He was in there from then. All right. You got hungry lions, and everything back then was much, much bigger. You know, everything back then was much, much bigger, man. All right. The people were bigger. The lions were bigger. The food, such and such. So the average everyday lion that you see now in the zoo or whatnot, just think of 2 or 3 times bigger than that, man. All right. And the fear that would strike you, being thrown into the lion's dens. All right. But even the animals, all right, the Lord is controlling the animals, man. You see, the animals know that Daniel's a servant of the Most High, and the animal's not going to do him nothing, as we about to read. All right. It says, and then the king went to his palace, all right, after they put him in there and sealed it up. It says, then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. So the king went to fasting. All right. It says, neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went before him. All right. So he was fasting. All right. He didn't want no entertainment, and he couldn't sleep, tossing, turning, because he thinking about Daniel being in a lion's den. All right. And it says, very early in the next morning, the king got up and hurried out to the lion's den. All right. And when he got there, he called out in anguish, Daniel. He's like, you know how Jake be. All right. So like, he's not a Jake, he a Mede. All right. Which is not an Israelite, by the way. Just putting a disclaimer out there. But, like I said, when you read these stories, you got to visualize, you know. And it say, and when he got there, he called down anguish, Daniel, servant of the living power, was your power whom you served so faithfully able to rescue you from the lions? And Daniel answered, long live the king. All right. My power sent his angel to shut the lions' mouths so that they would not hurt me. For I have been found innocent in his sight and have not wronged you, your majesty. And then the king was overjoyed and ordered that Daniel be lifted from the den. Not a scratch was found on him, for he had trusted in his power. All right. Back in that Psalms 34:7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivered them. All right. These are true statements, man. What we say in the world, that's facts. All right. It says, then the king gave orders to arrest the men who had maliciously accused Daniel. He had them thrown into the lions' den, along with their wives and children, and the lions leaped on them and tore them apart before they even hit the floor of the den. All right, and which to show you how hungry these lions was, which to show you the power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, and to show you how he's controlling everything. For Daniel to be in there a whole night, and they didn't eat him because the angel shut up the lion's mouths. All right. But when they threw them in there, their wives, their children, their families, they were decimated. All right. Before they even touched the ground, man. All right. Before they even touched the ground. It say in the KJV in my Bible, it says, and the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them their children and their wives, and the lions had the mastery of them, man, and break all their bones and pieces or ever they came at the bottom of the den. So they was through. You see? Through. It says, then the king Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwelled in the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the power of Daniel, and for he is the living power and steadfast forever. All right, and that's pretty much it. You can read the rest of this on your own time, But Lord willing, that this lesson was exhorting, all right, and comforting, and a faith booster, for brothers, man. All right, and the sincere out there that truly believe in this gospel, because we wholeheartedly believe that if we continue to fear the Lord, all right, and gonna the angels gonna continue to encamp it round about us, man. All right, because even in these times right now, all right, they keeping us on our day-to-day lives, all right, our day-to-day travel, all right. So how much more when Jacob's trouble come, man? All right, I don't want right to Zah that we continue in the faith, man. All right, and that our faith don't waver, but only wax stronger. All right. So with that, I'm gonna give our praises, glory, infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakodash. All right, double honors to the apostle Nels, a great millstone. Once again, peace, blessings, and salutations to the love of Korean. All right, which is the hopeful elect. Until next time, I say Shalom.